Na, wie geht's? Hey, how you doing? Well, it seems like The Last of Us Part 2 will not be messing around. In my last videos I was critical of the gameplay and the AI in The Last of Us, but I also promised that I would be more positive and focusing on the beautiful things in The Last of Us in this video. So this time I will be focusing on why I think that the combat in The Last of Us Part 2 and the AI in Part 2 will be greatly improved. And I will also be discussing why I think that the experience of Part 2 will be on the same level as the first one, both as an artistic experience and in character development and dialogue. Alright, let's first hear it from the man himself.
Every game leverages all of what we learned and all the technology we've built on the previous titles. So this is definitely using all the tech, all the engine improvements we made of Uncharted 4, and now we've had several years to build whole new tech to increase the fidelity even further of our game. So this is the next evolution of our Naughty Dog engine as far as lighting, as far as our character pipeline, how we do muscle deformation, rain effects, even like our facial performance is this whole new rig and whole new pipeline so we can get an even truer performance to what we're capturing on stage.
Okay, so combat is up first. They want to increase the fidelity of the game. Let's have a quick look at this gameplay footage and see what is new. The first thing we see is the whistling of the AI. They are communicating through whistling, so that's a new feature. Here we see the movement is very smooth and quick. There's dodging now. Lots of melee options. Ellie is also moving very quickly. We were already used to that a little bit when we played as Ellie instead of Joel in the first game, but this seems a bit quicker even. And here we see the hiding in the grass, which we're used to from Uncharted 4. Here Ellie is going prone. The symbol on the bottom right is indicating if Ellie is stealthy or not. I think this jump is pretty interesting. The throwing of bottles and probably bricks is back and very smooth. She's using the enemy as cover. Here she's pulling out an arrow which seemed to affect her health. Crawling in tight spaces, collecting arrows and maybe ammo in a pretty realistic way. Here we see the crafting menu with some new options, explosive arrows, maybe even fire arrows. More of the melee combat. Here we see that maybe there's even blocking in the melee combat. That would be pretty interesting even in the multiplayer. Some extra melee options. Okay, I am not going into very much detail in this analysis. I just wanted to have a quick glance at the combat changes and some improvements they might add. But I think it's safe to say that the combat will be very brutal, extremely smooth, more fast-paced and more focused on melee combat. And if they indeed improve the fidelity of the game, I think it's a big step forward. Okay, let's move on with the artistic experience of The Last of Us. This scene is one of the most important scenes in TLOU for me.
Whoa, look.
Let's just watch it first and I will explain afterwards.
Fireflies. I mean, real fireflies.
Yeah, I see that.
sorry. I lost myself for a sec.
Sorry, I lost myself for a sec. That, I think, could be a really good definition of art. Something that completely captures your attention and makes you want to say,
Man,
What?
nothing. It's just... I've never seen anything like this, that's all.
to me, an artistic experience is something so beautiful, interesting and captivating that you completely immerse yourself in it. You basically become the experience. In other words, you lose yourself. And I think we are looking for this kind of experience when we are playing video games. And The Last of Us is sometimes so immersive that even the characters we play forget themselves. I call that double immersion. And for me, getting lost in the story, the character development, in other words the artistic experience, is way more important than the brutal combat. I had an interesting discussion with TheiPadCat about the artistic experience of Part 2. He said, "You can't catch lightning in a bottle twice." Well, he knows a lot more about The Last of Us than I do, but here I have to disagree with him. I think it's very well possible that Naughty Dog delivers another masterpiece. I mean, we all know examples of great musicians who made dozens of amazing songs, and we all know painters who made dozens of great paintings, so Naughty Dog might not be able to catch the same lightning in a bottle twice, but I think it's certainly possible that they catch fire in a bottle this time. And I think I've got some good reasons to believe that we will be having plenty of those double immersion moments in TLOU Part 2. I mean, we as players may have enjoyed the journey very much, but I think Joel and Ellie and lots of the other characters were not having that much fun.
Man, this is kind of sad.
What is?
All this music that's just sitting here. No one's around to listen to it. I don't know. Doesn't seem right.
No, there's no one around to listen to it. I mean, occasionally they had time to listen to some music or enjoy some artwork, but they certainly did not have time to make music or create any new art.
Oh, man!
Hey, what happened to sleeping?
Okay, I know it doesn't look like it, but this here is not a bad read. Only one problem. Right there. To be continued. I hate cliffhangers.
Where did you get that?
Back at Bill's. I mean, all this stuff was just lying there.
Yes, all this stuff is just lying there. Enjoying art is certainly not a priority.
What else did you get?
Well... Here. This make you all nostalgic?
You know, that is actually before my time. That is a winner, though.
Yes, all the art is before their time. There is nothing new being created there.
Well, better than nothing. You know what? This isn't that bad.
I mean, they're trying to make the best of it. Yeah, but I think it's safe to say that this is not creating art. And they are even looking forward to being creative later.
Feel that breeze, huh? I tell you, on a day like this, I just sit on my porch, pick away my six string. Yeah, once we're done with this whole thing, I'm gonna teach you how to play guitar. Yeah, I reckon you'd really like that. What do you say, huh?
And even here they are discussing it.
Here, stand up. Put your arm on me. All right, let's go. I swear to God, I'll get you out of this. You're so singing for me.
You wish.
But in part 1 there was simply no time for them to make art because they
Struggled for a long time with surviving. And you...
Yes, they are simply struggling to survive. In other words, they're trying to stay alive instead of living life.
Yeah.
This is one of the few examples I found in part 1 where Ellie is actually trying to enjoy herself a little bit.
Get your ass up here.
So stupid.
And we all know how that turned out.
Come on.
Is this really all they had to worry about? Boys, movies, deciding which shirt goes with which skirt. It's bizarre.
Well, it seems bizarre to Ellie, but life used to be like that, and here we see that life may be a bit like that again.
There she is. Kids will be watching movies tonight.
Yes, they will be watching movies tonight, and in part 2 they will be doing a lot more.
Went out one night to make a little round. I met little Sadie and I shot her down. Went back home, jumped into bed. 44 pistol under my head.
In part 2 it's not just about surviving anymore. There apparently are some parts in the game where they're actually living their lives again. Here they've got electricity, there's plenty of light, there's music, there's dancing, people are enjoying themselves, she's laughing. And she's even enjoying the drink at the bar. And yes, I know the good life will probably not last very long, but even after tragedy, there still seems to be some time and place to make music. Very immersive music. Making music seems to be very much part of Ellie's life this time. And here we see a recent social media post of Ashley Johnson where Ellie is singing to Dina, so that's another example of Ellie making music in part 2. And as we can see on this Outbreak Day poster with Joel, he might be singing a tune as well. So I am really looking forward to some double immersion moments in TLOU Part 2.
No, I can't walk on the path of the right, 'cause I'm wrong.
So we discussed the combat in TLOU Part 2 and the artistic experience of the game, and now we will have a closer look at the character development.
Alright, baby girl.
Most people say that the story in The Last of Us cannot be improved.
What are you doing?
Killing time.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
I am sure you will figure that out.
But I think they actually mean the characters and the dialogue of the game cannot be improved.
Alright. Now watch your step as you're going up, because it's going to be a little...
Because it's the relationship between Joel and Ellie that takes center stage.
I feel sick.
And you just hang back like I told you to.
Well, you're glad I didn't, right?
I'm glad I didn't get my head blown off by a goddamn kid. You seem to know your way around a gun. You reckon you can handle that? Listen to me. If I get into trouble down there, you make every shot count. Yeah.
I got this. Careful crossing that thing.
I will.
Teamwork. Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
Joel is scarred after losing his daughter, and his relationship with Ellie has a lot of ups and downs at first.
Well, no matter how hard you try, I guess you can't escape your past. Thank you. It's me! It's me! It's me! Look! Look! It's me.
He tried to...
Oh, baby girl. It's okay. It's okay.
Joel.
It's okay.
I think we can safely say that Joel and Ellie have a father-daughter relationship. In part 2, Jesse even refers to Joel as your old man.
I'm getting you out of here, girl. I got you. I got you.
I don't think I ever told you, but Sarah and I used to take hikes like this. I think the two of you would have been good friends. I think you really would have liked her. I know she'd have liked you.
I bet I would have.
Well, I think they would have been more than good friends. I think they would have been like sisters. This is what Neil Druckmann had to say about the character development in The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, at its heart, is about Joel and Ellie and their journey, but it's also an ensemble piece with all these other characters fitting into that theme, and this time we wanted to focus on some of the other really important characters.
The other really important characters, like...
Laura. Demons are coming. Cut her down. She's one of them. Lev.
And of course the mystery woman. It seems like part 2 will not just be about Joel and Ellie this time, but the other side characters will probably have a more important story and character development as well.
Yeah.
She's putting on quite the show.
Yes, I expect Naughty Dog to put on quite the show again. With this diverse cast of characters, I think they will be able to match the first experience. And when part 2 is finally out, I'm sure we all will be saying,
Hey! What took you so long? Well, I'm here, aren't I?
Dina?
Jesse.
but until that moment, I would say,
Let's just wait it out. You know, we could be all poetic and just lose our minds together.
yes, let's just be all poetic. Like Virtualyme said, nothing is perfect, but this is as close as it's coming for me for a game experience.
Sorry.
It will be somewhat bittersweet when the new one comes out. I feel like it will be closing a chapter on the previous game that has been left open for so long. Let's just wait it out and lose our minds together.